more influence on me than I think he even knew or realized. But not because he wasn't keen and smart. He just didn't realize what was going on behind the scenes with me musically. I remember one of the things that he brought into the house for himself was he bought a really expensive tape player / recorder. It was called a Super Scope, and I think at the time they were used a lot by journalists who were using for interviews. They recorded.
You're listening right now
really
to J.P. Cormier.
And they also had something that he didn't even use, which was speed control. They could slow the playback of a cassette tape down to, I don't know, probably 50%, but he didn't even use that function. He was only concerned with just having a good sturdy machine that he could put his Winston tapes in and plug his earphone into it, and then he'd play along with those tapes. And of course, we ended up using it for recording ourselves around the house, the boys playing and me playing and mother singing and playing the piano and whatnot, making tapes of house parties, which was that's a very Cape Bretonish thing to do, is make tapes of house parties. There's a close friend of mine who's a master of the guitar down in Halifax named Dave McIsaac, and he's renowned in the Celtic music world for owning, hundreds and hundreds of house tapes. That's what they call them, of different fiddlers, down way back to the 40s. He has wire recordings and reel-to-reel tapes, and people recorded themselves. When the technology became available, they were like, wow, let's record this for posterity or whatever, right? So I was allowed to touch this machine. I used it all the time, not only to listen to music on cassette, but to record myself, which was something that led to the insanity of my life for the next 40 years. And so my father bringing that particular piece of equipment into the household had a profound effect on my learning, because I started to put two and two together very early. Like at the age of 5 and 6, I've been using the record player for years, since I was 3. And then, because my brother Joe was always so concerned with having the best component stereo he could possibly buy to get it, to afford, we ended up having a stereo system where you could put a blank cassette in the cassette component and play a record and record it right onto the cassette. So then that cassette would be taken by me to the bedroom, put in this Super Scope tape player, and I would use it to rewind, and I would play, 8 or 10 notes. I would figure 8 or 10 notes out, then I'd stop it and practice the 10 notes, and then I'd let it play the next 10 and rewind. And I also somebody bought me a turntable, a portable turntable inside this blue plastic suitcase, which was a total piece of shit. It sounded horrendously bad. And but I also used that I'd pick the needle up and play something for 10 seconds and lift it and play. I would just sit there for hours and hours doing this. But the point was being that the Super Scope had two things. It was easy to use because it was like one button you could rewind music, and it slowed music down. I was blessed all my life with perfect pitch, so I didn't need my phone to have a little round pitch pipe. It was circular. It was like a circular harmonica, and it had all the notes chromatic. It had all the notes and the notes that you could play charts, and you could use that to tune your fiddle. I didn't need that for some reason. I could wherever that was. So I ended up learning tunes with my guitar detuned, like probably 2 full tones, which this is another freakish thing, right? Because I had such bad guitars with heavy gauge strings on it, tuning down a whole tone made the action easier. So, because the strings were literally floppier because it was so low. And so I ended up, all of these components, all these coincidences led to me being able to learn stuff very easily, and my sharp ear gave me all these
J.P.
weird
Cormier.
tools. I had this tape player that slowed down to half speed. I could tune my guitar down to it very easily. I knew, and another thing that I believe happened is that slowing down the recordings allowed me to hear more accurately what notes were being fretted on a guitar and what notes were open. And that is a massive, massive key to understanding how to play anything on the guitar, is which D note is being played. Is it the open D string? Is it D on the 3rd fret of the B string? Is it D on the 7th fret of the G string? On and on it goes. And slowing it down literally opened up the tonal qualities of each note, where I could discern where on the neck a note was being played. And this was all coincidence. I had no idea at the time how important that was. I just knew it was happening. And also the ease with which I could learn something.
It's like the various...
If it got too hard, I knew I was
instruments
playing
in the brass instrument family.
I don't know why I knew that either.
All mixed into a kind of a one...
Dad really
symphonic sound.
That piece of equipment single-handedly started something in my life that never ended. To have that system in place all the time, anytime I wanted it. There was another issue as well that started to present itself early in my life, and I didn't know.
Delving in the world of copyright.
I had no idea that this was
issues,
even a thing, or
we'll deal with it.
That it had a name, or any of those things.
Hello
until
to
I
Portugal.
Was well into my 40s before
Welcome.
A journalist.
Thank you for joining us.
Asked me about it, and I had no idea what she was asking me because I didn't know what the word meant. She said it, and I was like, I don't understand. What do you like? What do you? You know, it was actually kind of funny. It was a phone interview, and she called me up. And the first question was, "So, I understand you have synesthesia."
Synesthesia. This is it.
I thought it was a disease or something.
Listen. Listen to this.
What have you heard? And I said, what? I have what? And she said, well, you see music in physical manifestations in your vision as shape and color. And I said, yeah, actually, yes, I do. I had no idea I had a name. My whole life. I think I was 46 or 47 when this information came to me. But this manifested in me when I was 6 years old. I remember the first time. I can still remember the first time it happened. I was listening to my father play the fiddle, and he played a tune in A, Strass Bay, a slow Strass Bay, and when he started to play it, I saw this. This is going to sound really weird, but I saw this dark brown kind of piece of driftwood floating by my eyeballs. Like it was just like a. And then as time went on, I say driftwood because it was almost like a rectangle or a trapezoidal kind of a shape, and the more I heard the tune, the stronger the image came, and the sharper the edges of the image came. And it became a shape and a color. And then I started noticing that other things looked different. Certain chords were blues and circular, and other things were yellow, and they were triangles and circles, and or like wavy lines, or so like there was all this thing going on in my head. When I was hearing music, I was seeing it, and I had no idea. I just thought that it was my imagination. I thought I had a vivid imagination, and that my brain maybe was. I mean, I was a kid. I wasn't thinking this deeply, and even through my adult life, I just thought, well, I visualize what I hear. Big deal, right?
You gotta hear
so it turns out synesthesia is not. It's really rare, and it's a neurological issue that's usually attributed to mathematicians. Mathematicians see math in shapes and color.
Can see it than they think.
And but then again, music is mathematical. So, which is odd to me, because I never understood music theory, and probably still I don't really use it now. I understand enough to teach basic theory about what's going on in an instrument, but theory, when I look at music theory, synesthesia goes away. It blocks it somehow. I can't apply my musical knowledge or my synesthesia.
You cannot learn it through
theory. So it's weird, because theory is all mathematical. But this started to manifest in me at that early age, and to be honest with you, I've always loved
check
to
out
teach
this guy,
people to
J.P
play,
Cormier.
and I've always loved to help people with everything they're doing musically. And
listen,
I've always felt bad about the advantages I had, because I know in my heart, in my head, that somebody who wants to learn to play or improve their playing can do so to an unlimited level if they do it in the right way. But when I offer to teach people things, or I offer to teach them over time, or whatever the case may be, or if they sign up for my online courses, my online lectures, they all come at it sort of the same way. They tell me, well, I'll never be able to play like you, so I mean, what's the point? Like, I can't learn anything from you. It's too far advanced, or whatever the hell. And it always bothered me. I always felt bad. I was like, okay, so you didn't grow up with this bizarre set of circumstances in your life. You don't have synesthesia, so I can't teach you that. But I've always wanted to tell them, take them by the shoulders and go, look, if you just do these
this guy's so cool.
things,
listen to what he's saying.
You can absolutely catch up to me in no time at all. But it's very hard to convince people of that, and it's been very frustrating in my life. I've always felt bad, because
music is a spiritual
to teach people
thing.
And it's imperative.
It flows through your body.
That I pass on the knowledge.
And I don't mean in a weird existential force kind of thing.
Yeah, it's odd. It's an odd, a really odd set of circumstances that came together in this perfect storm that put me on all these different paths.
But it could grab one and
to play more than one instrument.
Bring you
that's
into
also part of synesthesia,
and love of what it is.
Because I can translate my ideas from one instrument to another without any thought. I can play something on the guitar, play the same thing on the mandolin, even though it's a different scale, different tuning, different everything. It's a visual overlap, an overlay of
it doesn't matter what instrument
translates to whatever I'm holding.
You just can pick it up and feel the vibration of it.
I'm not sure.
And start making it do something
I
towards
mean,
what's
I wish it was
happening in
something
your
I could
space.
teach.
Does that make sense?
I've tried to boil down what I do to the most understandable form.
Oh, you guys can't hear me.
And,
Oh, you can hear me.
Which is basically just taking people through the step-by-step process that I accidentally went through as a child, and the little things that I learned that open all the doors. I've tried to do that. You know, that's been a big thing for me. So there was, in those early days, besides all the other influences I described so far in the series, there was a particular guitar player that I had. There were two records in the house at that time.
Here comes the Chet Atkins
of this guitar player, and of course, you just can't be a guitar player without mentioning this guy's name, and that name is Chet Atkins. It's unmeasurable when you think about, people who don't know about Chet, right? Who just think he was maybe just a hayseed country guitar player, blah blah blah, Nashville, la di da. If you know what he actually did and accomplished in his career, and the millions of people that he inspired to go buy an instrument and start playing, it's immeasurable what he accomplished. There's just no way to measure it. If I can guarantee you that 90% of the world's guitar players will list Chet Atkins as one of their, if not their biggest influence. And some guitar players didn't even follow that path. They heard Chet play, and then they ended up not even being fingerstyle players, but they ended up being guitar players, and they took from his style what they needed to do their own thing. This is a man that made, I think, 228 or 230 albums.
Just
in
listening
his career. 230 albums. It's just mind-boggling, like the amount of music that guy put out, and it was all incredible. There was nothing he ever did, in my opinion, that was fluff or just putting out music for the sake of putting it out.
Look up Chet Atkins.
With every record he ever made, every
recordings, you'll be amazed.
And there were two of his albums in my house. The first one was a double album set that my father, I think my father bought it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it could be Joe bought it. It probably was Joe. And it was a double album set on RCA Victor called "This Is Chet Atkins," and I remember seeing it for the first time. And there was this.
I don't think JP's going to give me a copyright strike. So keep listening in to what he's saying.
It embodied and epitomized everything in my mind about being a guitar player. There was some serene,
I love the guitar.
Zen-like
That's a great instrument.
In that painting,
such a great instrument.
And it captured Chet, who Chet was, And the other album that was in the house at the same time was another RCA album, because, Chet, we can go into Chet Atkins for days and talk about what he did in his career. But at the time, he was working for RCA. They called RCA Records at that time the house that Chet built, because Chet had done wonders for the RCA stable and was a brilliant producer for that record label and an A&R guy. And so there was this other record called Chet Atkins,
J.P. Cormier, who's talking about this,
and
he wouldn't strike
that cover, too, was
subscribe to his channel, J.P.
was
Cormier.
a picture of him.
Super awesome guitar dude.
One of the studios at RCA.
Like,
all
so
by himself
musical,
with
this
that
guy.
big red Gretsch.
Okay.
Sitting in a chair playing, and he was, the look, his body language and the way he was holding the guitar and the hands, and I used to listen to those
I love
albums
the guitar.
incessantly. It just never ended for me. It never got old. And the more I listened, the more I learned, and I kept hearing all these things that he was doing that I was thinking, okay, I'm picturing this and I know what it is. And so that's when the Super Scope tape player came into play. Because I immediately I could tell by the look of the pictures of Chet.
So, dude, Adam. So, the NFL totally tagged me. It was the NFL's live stream problem on the Super Bowl. Like, I'm kind of proud of this. Like, I got to tell my one special fan. Like, the greatest tuba player in Pennsylvania, or frankly, east of the Rockies, you should hire him for your orchestra. Adam Timmett. Dude. I'm so glad you're back. What was I going to say? I don't know. It's late at night.
He was playing with his fingers in his
I have a plan, though.
There was no flat pick in his hand.
So stay tuned.
Which I'd seen my brother Joe use. So I knew it wasn't that. I'd never seen Joe wear a thumb pick. But I could see the thumb pick in these pictures. And so I knew there was a thumb pick and there was as many fingers. I don't know how many he was using, but there were more than one involved. Because of the complexity of what he was playing. And so I realized I could hear him playing the bass lines and the melody at the same time. So I figured, okay, my brain immediately went, we have to separate that.
It's like
I wonder if I could do just part of that. So what I ended up doing was I went into my Super Scope tape player there and figured out the chord. I slowed down the recording and I figured out the key changes and the stuff that was going on. And then I did something that was completely abnormal for a 7-year-old kid to do. I created my first overdub. I thought, how can I play both of these parts at the same time? Well, I can't right now, but I could separate them and play one of the parts on
Is that in
tape
focus?
deck,
I don't think
and
it
then
is.
play the tape deck back and play the other part along with the tape. And that's what I did. And it started out as the thumb part. I would play through the whole tune, just the thumb and the chord changes that I could hear him making. And then I'd stop that, rewind it, and play that back, and I would pick the melody with my fingers along with this recorded thumb. And deconstructing Chet that way taught me how to do it simultaneously, because I immediately could see what my fingers
This
had
is
to do
live
while the thumb was moving.
internet radio right here.
So I started
with
taking
video.
it apart. It became
Can you see it?
two separate performances in my brain, the thumb and the fingers. They were separate. And that's how I learned to play fingerstyle guitar. It was an amazingly quick process.
The
It only
NFL
took me a few months to realize, okay, so when this note of the melody.
So the NFL actually put ads on that video and agreed to let it go as a fine video. So that's what I'm telling all of you. Like, get on, have good, say, the content doesn't have to be good, because my content's no good. But like, good in like PG content, and try to be positive about it, and you might be taken semi-seriously, where the NFL will put their ads in your video. So they stopped the stream, and then they let me go with the second stream, and later on told me that they're going to put ads in my video, and they're totally fine with it, even me playing the Super Bowl. So that was like a A+.
Is happening. My thumb is here because I had taken them apart. I even did it opposite. I played the melody. I recorded the melody on the tape and played with that with just the thumb. So I was able to. Somehow my brain knew that I had to take it apart. I had to make them separate, and I had to see where they rubbed against each other. That's the best way to describe it. I had to find out where this finger was when the thumb was doing this, and it was easy. If you take something apart at that level, it gets real easy. It's like, oh, okay, so while this is happening, and pretty soon the thumb, because the thumb is so repetitive, the thumb became automatic.
Welcome to the show.
And I immediately found all of the patterns for each chord. They're easy, right, to do. You just find out where the root is on every chord, and it just went on from there. And so,
yeah, I'm always happy to hear a joke.
Piece of music that
bring on the joke, dude.
Well. There was one particular piece
of
music
that
occurred in our household,
sweet,
from multiple sources. That tune, that song was blowing in the wind.
Let's listen. Let's listen to J.P. Cormier.
I heard it on an album, a Glenn Campbell album called "The Astounding 12-String Guitar of Glenn Campbell," and that album virtually changed my life as well. It was an incredible piece of music, and Glenn Campbell's was one of the greatest guitar players ever hold an instrument, and so underrated. And then the second place it occurred was on a Peter, Paul, and Mary album called Together 10 Years Together, or something like that. And then finally, it occurred on the Chet Atkins Alone album.
It's just a show.
Which he played it on a gut string guitar.
Don't take it too seriously.
And so there was these, and a fourth version was Joe around the house singing it. He played the Bob Dylan version of it, right? And so it was everywhere around me, and I had all these different versions being played, and it was coagulating in my head, you know. And so I obviously went right for Chet. I had so many versions of it. It was easy for me to go to the Chet version and learn that one.
Let's get the algorithm up.
And that's what I did.
Up.
And it's
millions.
That was sort of the
billions
first tune.
Of viewers.
There was one I experimented with prior to that one, which was from.
Let's do it.
Which actually that might have happened a little bit later on, but there was I started to get Chet records for my birthdays and my Christmas presents from Dad and brothers, and there was another album that came a little bit later on.
Thanks, JP.
Possibly in the same year.
Your show is so cool. Everybody subscribe. J.P. Cormier.
Together, and they did a tune called Nashtownville, which was a pretty simple little tune in the key E, and or A.
Super
actually,
awesome
starts in E.
Show.
But that one I took apart as well. But Blown in the Wind was the one that really got me. And that's the one I probably put the most time into when I first started playing fingerstyle guitar.
I got.
And
the guitar.
I mean, on and on it goes. It just one thing led to another, and you have to understand that these things were happening at a great rate of speed. I would learn something in a week, and the next week it would move on to another tune. So there was sometimes 50 to 100 things each year coming into my repertoire and coming into my head, because I just kept eating it. I just ate it like candy. I couldn't stop myself. And of course, a lot of that goes back to, you know, some of the darkness that was in the household, and I was escaping from that. So the guitar became a refuge, and
We all have darkness,
the
don't we?
more I learned, the brighter it made my life, and the more pleasant it made my interactions, even with my own family, and later on with the
There
public
are
would
no
become
tuba
involved
players
with.
on
And
Pluto.
but I'll tell you, Chet
But
Atkins,
if you
I'm probably going to end up mentioning that man about 1,000 times during
if
this
you want
series,
to think
just
about there
because,
being tuba players on
you
Pluto,
know,
like if you think there's any possibility of a tuba player being on Pluto, how else would they get to you or communicate with you if not for this program? Pluto is a planet that's way the far out there, dude. It's past Mars, past Jupiter, past Uranus, Neptune. And some people say that Pluto is not even a planet. Some people think that Pluto is just a stupid rock that got lost out there somehow. Like, no, I'm serious about this. If you're going to bring up the planet Pluto, that they demoted to a rock. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. No human can name a planet or name a rock that God created or a place that God created unless he somehow allows it. So, I mean, I don't know if Pluto is Pluto per se, but Pluto is definitely a planet. And if it's big enough to be a rock and that you can see it, I think it's a real planet. Like it's a planet. Well, okay. Well, that's a good point. It's not in the planets. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know my history very well. But, well, that's a good point. I don't know what to say. If it's not in the symphony, maybe it's not a real planet. You might be right. Yeah. All right, let's try this. Okay, so now the trick is, like I put this big old title on my live stream so I could have 3 people watch it. Google it. Well, yeah, Google has all the answers. They really do. Okay, but okay, so I got this book, dudes. It's gonna be terrible, but check it out. If I put it in front of my face, you can see it. Ooh, yeah, baby. Can you see it? You know, when I was a kid, I used to go to the LA Phil, and they were really good, except their horn players always screwed up every single concert. I'm going to say, like, this is in the mid 80s, early 90s. Like, I lived in LA, and I loved the LA Phil, and I saw the LA Phil with Roger Bobo and with Norm Pearson, and their horn players screwed up every freaking concert. But now they're really good. So, like, I don't have anything to say about that. That was a good book. Huh. Well, euphonium is a pretty instrument. I have one up here. I've played it a couple times. I can do pretty well on it, but I don't play it normally. Philippe is the intruder. Well, there should be an intruder on every YouTube live broadcast, especially in the middle of the night when everything's said and done, right? Like, why are people even on the internet? I mean, so I like that I have an international audience. Like, I think I go on here in a way on purpose to avoid the domestic audience, me being here in the United States. Like, I'm happy that I have a different audience in some ways. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is, you know. I'm trying to represent the United States to you out there in other time zones. But like I can barely see, so I'm trying to read your comments down here on a little screen. Work in progress here. But the LA Phil, yeah, I used to go see them a lot. Yeah. I used to go see the LA Phil a lot. I really liked them. But I have to say, as someone with a very keen ear, who went to see them a lot in the 80s and early 90s, but especially the 80s, their horn players would screw up a lot of concerts. They're French horn players, not the trombonists, trumpets, or tubas. They were awesome. They suffered because of that French horn section, making like everything else in the whole concert was great, except for the 14 clammed horn notes. Like, I'm not kidding. If I could play the organ, would you do it? You know, I got a really good friend who plays the organ really well. I don't know, like I'm not one who thinks that playing music and money equate anymore. And from me, like I've made a lot of money, but I have not made it from music. I made some, but not a whole lot. Most of it was more from the grace of God and Him giving me the right wisdom to make the right decisions. But organ, no way, man. Like, the organ's cool because you can play bass notes with your legs, and you can play all the other notes, and you can switch things. And I think the organ's kind of like the 1920s film scoring instrument. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, if that was when I lived, I would do it. Does that make sense? Bro, dude, okay, wait. I love you guys, like, commenting. This is so cool. In the middle of the night. Bro, you should know that you helped me with direction to get my first tuba. Sweet, Danner, man. That's awesome, man. I love the tuba. If I can help anyone get any tuba and save money and or get something that they really love tuba-wise, man, that makes me super happy. That is so cool. French horn. Let's have a lot of harmonics, right? That's hard in the upper register, especially old ones. Yeah, I'll tell you, like, I'm not ragging on the LA Phil. I'm just saying, like, when I was growing up, I went to a lot of concerts, like a lot. Like, I went to several per year. I was just blessed to be able to do that in the situation I was in. And that LA Philharmonic, Zuma Maeda, just great people, great players. The string players were great. The woodwind players were great. The brass players were out of this world. Tom Stevens and Don Green and all the supporting brass players. Like, have you ever heard of the burp? It's the thing you put on your on the side of your tuba to play on your mouthpiece. What's that guy's name, dude? I met that guy several times. He played in the LA Phil. He used to come down from San Francisco to play. Right? I don't know. But like, dude, the LA Phil had such great players, but I used to go to their concerts and the horns would screw it up. Like I thought it was crazy. Like I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, oh, what a great concert. But there were so many clam notes in the horn section. Like, who are these horn players? I couldn't believe it back then. This is the 80s and 90s. Like, I don't know. Ask Norm about it. Because when Norm got in there after Roger left, not too long after that, it started changing. Okay, you should know that you helped me with it. Yeah. The Eastman 632 is such a great horn. So, should I play this Vikentios Gionanidis? Vikentios Gionanidis? Do you guys know this guy? On the Eastman? I was going to play it on the Miraphone. Bro, you should know. It's hard for me to read the comments. My eyes are so bad. Any celebrity play the tuba, who would you choose? Oh, dude. Any celebrity? Like if I would just like pick a celebrity who should have played the tuba at some time? Oh man, I have no idea. Like I'm glad you guys are asking me these questions, but they're intense, man. Any celebrity, like a celebrity who doesn't play the tuba, I got to choose someone who should play it. Like, and I guess play it well or know how to play it or, kind of get a feel for it, at least. Well, I think that anyone playing the tuba is a funny thing. Anyone playing the tuba. The tuba is the funniest and best instrument in the world. Like, always funny. It's always funny because, look, like even in your human system, your speaking, your tenor, and all that tone, but really, there's always a digestion and a slow release of vibration. And I think the tuba and the slow release of vibration will always be funny because it's low and slow and cool. Oh, there are so many cool tuba players. To be someone who chooses to play a very cumbersome, heavy, like not comfortable instrument to play, that is absolutely essential, especially if you're in any kind of unamplified situation. So I tell everyone. So we've been home for COVID for all this time, and the lights haven't gone off. Like I've got my studio here, dude. I've got all these lights on. I live in a big ass castle, and we've got all kinds of electricity here, and everything's cool. But when all electricity stops, I've always told people like bass is like it's the core of like it's almost the core of our soul. Like you almost want to feel bass. Why do you think bass has been so successful in music over all the years? Like if you can listen to music from the very beginnings. Like it even went from tuba to the bass, upright bass, bass guitar, when finally recordings were able to pick those up as much as the tuba. But before that, the tuba reigned. The tuba had like a small amount of time that it reigned as the ultimate bass instrument from the, late 1800s or the late 19th century, however you look at it, into the 1930s and 40s when it started to change to bass because they started to develop microphones that could record some amount of bass music, right? Well, Harrison Ford, he's getting pretty old. Like, he would not be the right guy to teach the tuba to, like right now. The tuba is really best meant for large, strong men that have a very keen ear for how music works, because the bass solidifies all the things in music. Everything can always follow the the sound of the bass. So that's one of the coolest things about the tuba. Almost like it's the first thing on the sound pyramid. Well, yeah, it's the first thing on the sound pyramid. Yeah, that is what it is. I mean, that is what it is, because sound consists of a series of waves, and there's the bass waves that are the sort of the floppiest, the biggest, the ones that woo cause that thing that makes you kind of move and be the thing that you are. Uh, and then the middle waves fill in like the main part of the music, and then the upper waves kind of fill in the sizzle and the small spiciness. You can almost like, if you're cooking, you're going to have all these different kinds of densities in your food that will equal your final product. Your final product might be, I don't know, like a chicken rigatoni, or I don't know, like a pad thai, super Thai style, extra spicy, or something. But whatever it is, it's going to have all these different spices and things. But if it doesn't have a solid foundation that knows exactly what it is from the very start, so that the chef can sort of build on that, like, I'm going to build this spicy Thai, pad Thai peanut sweet noodle dish that will kind of blow people's mind in spice, but also give them the sweetness and the protein and the the density and the feeling of the carbohydrates of the noodles, and all these things together build into one. But it always starts with the lowest common denominator. Like and that's why the tuba is so essential in music, because frankly, and I tell people this all the time, the lights are going to turn off at some point. And don't, now I'm getting serious here, but don't deny the fact that our lives are very precious and unique in the history of the universe, that the human life is fragile. We need food, we need basic air, we need water above all else, like air, water, and then at some point you need food. These days, most Americans could probably do without food for several months, but that's our fault. Like, okay, to be honest about it. But the foundation, like when the lights, I like when the lights go out. I actually think that those of us who have, at least will try to share what they have to offer in love and in music and peace and freedom, will have a better chance than those who try to share all they have left in violence, because there will be plenty who are doing that all over the world. And please don't do that, whoever you are. Like, love and peace and music is where it's at always. Like, I don't know why I'm preaching the weird stuff, but hey, it's the middle of the night. Let's read some of these comments. These are pretty cool. Portugal. Stigma that tuba players don't need to be that good, resulting in a lot of bands missing that bass. Well, yeah. What am I lessons, one of my teachers said that tuba players got to have better oral training than trombones. Yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. I think that, excuse me, all of us have to have, I mean, you don't have to have oral training, but if you don't listen to whoever you're playing with, you won't play whatever you're supposed to be doing right. I mean, that's a key. That's a key. So I got this new book. I was going to play this thing like as a sight reading exercise. I'm completely terrified to sight read with you guys. The dude sent me this to Dylan. Oh, look at this. He signed it. I love it. Okay, hold on. Can you see it? Let me see. Come on, focus on that sucker right there. To Dylan, best wishes. Vikentios, Gionanidis. What a name! Like my name is so easy to say and spell. Dylan King, Dylan King. Like I'm thankful for that name, but that is an awesome name, and I like that this guy, like said, I like the style of this music and the way it's played on the tuba or whatever, and like he made a book of 29 new ones, like. Sweet ass awesome right there, right? Like this guy wrote a whole entire book of 29 new bel canto studies. So, like, I'm not selling stuff on my site. I don't do that. I don't even know why I've monetized my thing in the past. I've thought like, oh, if I croak, maybe my kids will get a few bucks for this because I get like 20, 25 bucks a month from my YouTube. But I don't even care. Like, but this guy, he wrote 29 new ones. Like, good for him. And like, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna try to play one of them. I'll play the first one. It's gonna suck, but whatever. Let's try it. Because I gotta pee, and I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna turn off my YouTube. So. But I'm going to try to get the sound okay before I play it. So you guys are going to help me out. I got 4 of you watching right now, and like I don't want to peak this out. I want it to sound semi-decent, like a little bit like I'm in a hall or something. You guys are going to help me out. Yeah, I guess it's lyrical studies, man. Like, totally right. Like bel canto, like he's talking about lyrical things, like you could warm up your voice for a song for my love, or whatever you want to say. Like, you know, it's a lyrical study. It makes no sense. Sound quality, tone, like. They're put in a, like, hopefully if they're put in a tuba sense, I'll play this one. This is the first one right here. Here we go. Might as well try it. It looks pretty simple. Now don't copyright strike that either. But they usually start with the easiest one, so it looks pretty easy. Now I just have to I have to mute my vocal mic and turn on some tuba mic and get this working through my computer. So give me a second. I'm gonna try it. And you guys tell me if it sounds like really overworked or something. If not, I mean, if it sounds semi-okay, I'll play it. What do you want me to play it on? What do you want me to play it on? The Miraphone or the Eastman? First person to say Eastman or Miraphone, I'll play it on that tuba. I may have to oil one of them, but the first thing I see, if I see Miraphone, I'm going to play it on the Miraphone 291 double C Bruckner. Oh, there we go. Eastman. All right, dude. All right, you win. Hey, Danner, man, you win. I'm going to play it on the Eastman. I got to switch mouthpieces. Hold on. good luck with this. Okay, I got to try to get this mix right. This is the toughest part. So I'm going to put my headphones on now and listen to my final mix. Otherwise, I'll never even get it close. Okay. I'm going to pause my talky sound. So I might be talking and you're looking and going, oh, what is he saying? It's so brilliant. And you know what? At this point, too bad for you. I'm going to play something on this tuba. So just be calm, patient, and wait for it. Yeah, the York Brenner was beat up. Okay, but this is it. You told me Eastman. That's what I got. Okay, so I'm going to pause this. This one on. Put on the mouse a little bit. Let's see. Hey, things are happening. Welcome to the TubaDylan Show. I'm trying to get the sound to sound semi-decent. Sweet, Philippe. Thank you for that. Let's try this. This is terrible sight reading at its worst. Okay. Let's see. Whatever. I have no idea. All right. I have no idea. Was that like terrible? Oh, sweet, dude. The first time through. Yeah, I saw people posting about that. Oh, thank you, thank you. That was a live read-through. Oh, yeah. Probably terrible. But that was the Bordoni-like bel canto studies by Vikentios Gionanidis. Oh, how could someone have such a gorgeous name that is so hard to pronounce for a stupid American? Oh, sweet. Oh, yeah, I miss playing too. Oh, yeah, play it on the York. You want me to play it on the York Burner one time? I just played it the first time. Oh, yeah. Well, I actually don't keep Christmas because I became a Christian. That's a whole nother story, but Christmas doesn't have a whole lot to do with real Christianity and what Christ was about. But I loved Tuba Christmas. I used to play in LA at Tuba Christmas. I used to love it. Oh, you really want me to play the same piece on the York Burner? That would be kind of cool. Like, I'm on the air, like, why not? I'll play it through the same mic. I think I can do that. Like, I think I've got enough juice, like just barely enough left in me before I got to run to the potty and like maybe end my live stream to play it on the York Burner. Let's try it. Let me use the same mouthpiece. Let me tell you guys what this is. This is that mouthpiece that those Monster Oil dudes made. You want to see this? Like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it one time. I really enjoyed this mouthpiece. Like, I don't know who these guys are, but this is just so you know, and I'll turn my vocal mic off and play it through the York Burner. Lube Master Super, what is it called? Super something. Super Dude, this is some sort of super something. I can't even see it because it's hard to, it's looking cursive. Can you, is it going to focus on this sucker? This is the Lube Master. This is like, I'll just turn it around like, do, 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 do. Monster Oil guys. They decided to make a tuba mouthpiece, and I got one. I think this will be good on the York Brunner. Lube Master. Super something. That's right, dude. I'm gonna play it on the York Brunner. I want to play the same thing. The Vikentios Gionanidis Bel Canto Studies #1. I just got the thing. I'm gonna play it. Like, why not? I suck, but I'm gonna play it. Hold on. Let's do it. My whole fourth valve slide just fell out of this thing. I'm gonna fix it before I play. Or was it the fifth? What in the world? Yeah, this is the fourth. Just, I've got to pick it up to fix it. Okay, I'm gonna fix it. You guys are watching. This is history in the making here. The slide fell out when I took the horn over here. Not damaged. I'm still here. This must be incredible content for you people. But I had this slide lapped down so that I could move it better. So I'm going to put it back. It fell out only because I had it fixed so it would do that. Okay. That is something I had done to the Eastman, by the way. I had that slide lapped and so that it would be easier to move. Okay, I'm going to play it on the York Brunner before I give up for the night. Go hang out with my lovely wife. Modern, minimal. Yeah, so hey folks. Can you see me here? I'm on the wide camera. I gotta bend down a little bit, but hey, is it still moving? It is moving. Modern, minimal, mini, modern, underscore, minimal, underscore, mini, like Minnie Mouse. Instagram. Check it out. I take the pictures. My wife is the gorgeous girl. Check it out. Check it out. Okay, I'm going to play the York Brunner. I'm going to go get it. Not kidding. I'm going to put that mouthpiece in it and everything. Here we go. This is it. This is a super sweet horn. This is a special York Brunner because I had it customized. A few different times over the years to meet my demands. But this is the York Brunner, Hirschbrunner. This was actually before they had a number for it. Whatever they call it now. Let's see here. Can you see me? Got the focus? Let me make sure I get the sound right on this. Switching it up. Okay, I don't want to screw up the sound. Maybe there. Now this mouthpiece is too small for this horn. So this horn takes a European shank mouthpiece. I haven't tried the mouthpiece, so now I feel slightly foolish about like saying I'm going to play it on this horn. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, so this mouthpiece isn't quite right for this horn, if you're hearing me. So it's an American shank mouthpiece, but I'm going to put it in here anyway because I think that I've played the York Brunner with American shank mouthpieces before, and it's okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay. But I'm going to try it. Just for you guys. I'm gonna turn off my vocal mic and I'm gonna play the York Brunner with an American shank Monster Oil mouthpiece. On the same piece I just played, I didn't quite play it right. Well, that's my problem. But here we go. Okay. Yeah, just so you guys know, I'm trying to get it to have no peaking, yet in my main headphones here, which are on a delay, so I can't really play while wearing these. It's still peaking. It's driving me crazy. I'm working on it. Oh, good. Foghorn is what we want. Oh, I messed it up. Well, that was live. That was live, you know. Like, give me some props for doing it live, you know. Not so great, but whatever. I'm not going to play Mario Brothers. I'm about to end the stream. I'm so glad I have 6 people watching. That's like one more than usual. You guys are so, so cool. I love that I've got an international audience, that some of you actually listen to me. You guys are awesome here on YouTube. Oh, thanks, Adam. Dude, don't you ever sleep, man? You're like on the east side. Oh, well, thanks, man. I could have done better on the second try around, but York Brunner's a beast, man. Like it, if you don't play it all the time, like you, for me, I have to pull slides on it, and I don't play it all the time. So that took me for a little loop in that etude right there. Oh, sweet. You guys are so sweet. Yeah, I don't sleep that much either, man. In the morning, my kids get up, the wife gets them to school and all that, and that's when I want to sleep. Like the morning. And I've been like that since I was a little kid. My parents woke me up from school. I did not want to go to school. I wanted to sleep. And I'm still the same way. My York Brunner is priceless, thank you. There's no better York Brunner. But I think a good York Brunner should go anywhere from, these days, 11 to 14,000. But my York Brunner is worth way more than 14,000. It's like the last handmade one they did. Mine they fine-tuned in order to make their machine parts of the HB50. Mine was the one that they experimented with for that. And then I fine-tuned it beyond that. It is the most awesome horn. It is priceless, and you will never get it. It is sweet. But love you for asking. Oh, dude, you want me to show you what I got? You guys want me to show you before I go to bed? I can do it. I can do it. I got something new. I get something new all the time. From my favorite company. Oh, yeah, the York Brunner is super cool, dude. Super, super, super cool. But I got something cool. Sweet, dudes. Okay, I'll show you. I'll unbox it right here because I'm so excited. Well, I already did downstairs. But I'll show you something awesome. Because it's related to this video. Now, he'll never watch it. J.P. Cormier, the guy I was playing, okay, I gotta take this off because I got the echo here. Okay, so the guy I was playing when I first started this video, if you're actually still watching, his name is J.P. Cormier. He was talking about music. Now, he's kind of a music savant. He's a bluegrass musician who's played with many, many fine, fine artists through the years. And he plays the fiddle or the violin, the banjo, and the guitar like nobody's business. Yeah, dude, go to sleep, man. Good to see you. You can watch the end of this later, whatever. But I'm still going to show you this one thing. Just really quick, because I mentioned him in this video. And if he watches it, and he might, J.P. Cormier, he's cool, like he watches YouTube. If you watch this, J.P., and you're watching all the way to the end, you talked about a guitar on your video that I have. I'm going to pause my tuba microphone here. I'm going to put my York Brunner away, and I'm going to show you guys something. The 5 of you that are here. Hold on. J.P. Cormier showed me these guitars. You can go to his site, J.P. Cormier on YouTube, and check out his videos. They're really cool. Like, you don't have to be into guitar to understand that he has a lot of insight into music. And that's why I like certain people on the internet or whatever, that they might have a spiritual or a musical insight. And this guy has incredible insights into guitar. And I love the guitar. I used to be decent on guitar, and now I'm terrible. But I still love the guitar. And he talked about the Yamaha handmade handmades. So Yamaha has a huge factory. I'm taking, right now you can't see me, but I'm taking this guitar out of the case here because I have some of the world's greatest guitars here. But Yamaha, here we go. If I still have a few audience members with me here, and I can actually get some sort of sound here. Let's see if we can get this to come through. Let's turn on the spirit mic. Now look, this guitar, okay, so, hold on. I want to put these headphones back. This is the sound that you guys hear, so I'll put these back on here. Real quick. So, this is my dream acoustic guitar, and it is now here. Good for you for going to sleep. I'm going to show you people now this absolute gorgeous beast of an instrument. Just because of my title, that I put J.P. Cormier in my title. Now he talked about these Yamaha guitars and talked about Yamaha as a company and how they approach their instrument making. Yeah, there's no smoke on the water. I am not a guitar player, obviously. I play the tuba. I wish I had become a guitar player. And I've always been on the endless quest of the perfect guitar. Partly because I love guitars and the sound they make. And partly because the tuba is too heavy to be one's instrument for life. And can't make a whole bunch of weird sounds like the guitar can, honestly. This is the Yamaha LL26. Look it up. And I have like many world-class guitars here. And this guitar is built, and like I can't even explain how someone can take wood and stretch it and laminate it and bend it and stretch it to make such an incredible instrument. And even now they don't have a 5-piece all the way through neck like this guitar has, which is super unique. And this guitar is, it's unbelievable. I don't know what to say. I'm so excited. There are so many good guitars. I agree. Oh, thanks, guys. You will enhance your brass playing experience. And you guys know if you play guitar whether it's tuba or whatever, trombone, trumpet, anything. By learning some amount of acoustic guitar, even just messing around with a guitar and how the harmonics work on a guitar, it's just so beneficial. Yeah, I've been thinking about the 12-string guitar is the only thing that I don't. It's the only guitar I don't have, and I honestly, after hearing about this guitar and just today getting it, and I have been dreaming about this guitar for years, thinking about it, dreaming about it, wondering about it. Yamaha has the Hamamatsu Factory in Japan, where they have their master luthiers, their master instrument makers there. And even more than the brass instruments, Yamaha has taken pride in their guitar making. They take a super amount of pride and dignity in what they do with this very simple piece of wood that to them is an ancient instrument, just like to the West. So the West, in Europe and the United States and all the different places in the West, the guitar, it is a staple instrument. Even in the Bible, you hear that David plays the lyre, he plays this harp, and there's just an instrument of strings that is played with the left hand and the right hand that has been played over generations, both in the East and the West. And in the East, the Japanese took super pride. Like, you've heard about their samurai swords and how their swords are like lightsabers and they're folded over 5 million gajillion times by the makers, and they can't be beat. The Japanese swords, the actual ones from the dynasties that are hundreds of years old, that are made of steel, are unbelievably incredible instruments or weapons of destruction. And the Japanese also were, at the same time, they had the same type of people working on instruments of beauty and just absolute fascination of sound. Like, just... And so I've been fascinated by their designs forever and wanted to get my hands on a Yamaha guitar, but I did not want a Yamaha guitar built in China. Not that they're bad. As a matter of fact, anything that's built under the Yamaha name, including their Chinese instruments, is probably better than most other instruments in the world. Ariel Camacho. Oh, yeah, I love the 12-string. So I've been thinking about getting a 12-string. They don't make a handmade 12-string in Japan, or at least they don't right now that I think you can buy. And this is just me talking about Yamaha itself. Yamaha makes the LL2612, which is a 12-string guitar made in China. That is an absolutely fabulous instrument that I have very, very much considered getting in the last several weeks, even. Like, I think about that instrument all the time. The ones that I have always wanted to get my hands on are the actual Hamamatsu factory-made, handmade guitars. Either the LL26, 36, or 56. Now, the 36 and 56 are made by, you could say, increasingly experienced luthiers in the shop, where the 56 is made by the master luthier of the Yamaha shop. This is the 26, so this one's made by the students in the shop under the supervision and instruction and master instruction of the master luthier in the shop. So this instrument is just as good, if not, you never know, even better, because sometimes students are better than their teachers. Are we still on? Okay, so I think we got kicked off for a second. Welcome back. I think we got kicked off for a second. What I do for a living, I am, well, I donate my time for a living. I am actually, I really can't tell you. Yeah, I couldn't tell you what I do for a living for sure. But I do have a life in music and filmmaking. I'll tell you that much. Oh, you guys are funny. Yeah. People do want to know what I do for a living. Yeah. Go to tomorrowsworld.org and you can somehow maybe figure it out. That will help you in your search. I try to serve God in what I do. So I've been doing that since I was a young boy. Do I do anything necessarily for a living? No. But does God give me back incredible things for serving Him? Way more than I can imagine. That's the absolute truth about it. Well, I do compose music and have composed music. Yeah, that is true. So, that's part of what I do for a living. But I don't, I don't include that as my main thing or my only thing. Let's just put it that way. Very blessed. Yeah, very blessed. Beyond in an imaginable way. Yeah. I can't even say. Yeah. In material and spiritual blessings, I'm a very blessed man. I can't say anything else. I have an absolutely gorgeous wife, and that's part of what I do for a living, actually. So if you ask, go to modern_minimal_mini, modern_minimal_mini on Instagram. I'll say it one more time because I want all of my TubaDylan viewers to go over there and subscribe to modern_minimal_mini on Instagram. And you'll get a gorgeous view of my beautiful wife. And every picture you see on there, 99% of them, although my daughter's taken 2 or 3 iPhone photos over the years, are taken by me. And that will show you how much of a blessed man I am. That's my wife, and I take those photos. So, also I am a photographer, filmmaker. I do a number of things. In the past, they would call us sort of, what do they call us? Bohemians, or, just people who did lots of different things. But yeah, I'm very blessed, very blessed. No, modern, minimal, mini, MINNIE, like Minnie Mouse, if you look for modern, minimal, mini, like Minnie Mouse, you will see a gorgeous girl dressed as different Disney characters or whatever you want to call it. And that is my gorgeous wife. If you look through them, you'll see me in one or two of the million zillion photos, and my kids in 3 or 4 of them. So that's the main focus of my life, is caring for that gorgeous wife and kids. And but that's one of the things we do here. But I please subscribe to her and hit her up and make a comment that you love knowing that TubaDylan is your photographer. That would be super cool, because she'd get a kick out of that. But yeah, I wanted to show you this guitar because I play Yamaha tubas. I've got a couple Yamaha tubas, and they are super, super, super duper excellent. There's some things about those horns that are unlike any of the tubas I have. Oh, cool, sweet. Great, Philippe, man, wherever you are, man. I'm so glad you're into it. Dude, but Yamaha tubas, there's something about them, like Yamaha puts in time and effort into trial and error, into master artisanship amongst their, for the guitars, their luthiers, but for their horns, they're sort of master craftsmen, or I don't know what you call them. And I love their tubas so much that I thought their guitars must be awesome. And I've read so many things over the years, but I've read that the ones to really get are the ones that are handmade in the Hamamatsu Factory in Japan. And this is it. So I've never seen an instrument quite like this when it comes to guitar. I just got this today. And I wasn't able to play guitar for almost 20 years because of some injuries. But now I'm starting to feel like my hands are coming back. So I'm starting to play again. I'm learning a little bit of guitar with my daughter, giving her some lessons. Yeah, I mean, well, okay, I can see why you could think Yamaha tubas might feel a little heavier. They're definitely built to live several lifetimes. Every Chinese instrument that I have feels like something on it is going to break at some point. Every Japanese instrument I've ever had feels like it will take a ton of effort to ever break anything on that horn. Does that make sense? So they might feel heavier. I think they just feel like they're better put to... This guitar is no heavier than some of my world-class guitars that I have behind me and in other places in my castle here. So I have another music room, 2 other ones. Yeah, well, there you go. There's something about these Yamaha instruments. They take such a pride in their workmanship. And I'm not saying that Eastman doesn't take pride in their workmanship, or that Wessex doesn't take pride in their workmanship. They do. And the leaders of those companies, even Mac Brass and the Chinese companies, they feel that it's very important that they're getting these things correct. And they're trying to match something like what Yamaha has. Will they match what Yamaha has before the whole world ends and the volcanoes and the huge asteroids destroy everything on Earth? I don't think they will, actually, because I think that the Japanese have been perfecting not only their instrument building, but their entire sort of artistic infrastructure for hundreds and hundreds of years. which is kind of in a way what Americans have done with their very high class instruments, and the Canadians as well. You don't see it as much in the brass world other than certain companies like Monet. Taylor does it in the UK. There are small brass companies that mostly trumpet related, but some trombone, like you've got BAC in Kansas City. You have Butler Trombone making carbon fiber trombones. There are several American companies that are placing all of their bets in the quality, the construction, the ingenuity of their workmanship, which is what Yamaha does. But I don't think the Japanese, I mean the China, sorry about that. I don't think the Chinese are visionaries as much as the Japanese or the Americans. The Germans also have a precision that they have that's different even. All the different people have a different way. Like the Germans are the rotary valve instrument kings of the instrument world, and they've perfected that too. And they also make absolutely incredible string instruments. Like there's some violins that are German made that are just absolutely unbelievable. Yamaha, Casio are just wow. Yeah, well, I have a Yamaha concert piano downstairs in my music room. Like you can't even see it here because you're in my studio here, but if you do look at a few of my tuba videos where I film in my living room, like the more recent Bach quartet that I filmed, there's a piano behind me, a baby grand piano that is a Yamaha concert grand that was specially made for David Abel Pianos in Beverly Hills as a special piano. And that's my piano that I have down in my music room. And that piano just, first of all, it stays in tune, and it stayed in tune for, it can stay in tune for years, not really going that far out of tune. And it just rings overtones like nothing else, like the oldest pianos. Something that Yamaha's done all this research, so they know what to put in their brass instruments and their guitars, how to treat the wood to make it sound like it's 50-year-old wood when it's only 5-year-old wood. I mean, that's like their goal. And they do the same with their brass instruments. They really do. Oh yeah, BNS. Well, BNS is a German-made rotary tuba, and you can't really go too wrong with something like that. But those horns also are finicky. They're finicky. One thing a Yamaha instrument is not is finicky. German tubas, even American tubas, have a finicky factor, where some of them are awesome, and almost all of them have little things that are not right. You have to cut a slide here. You have to fix a spit valve there. This valve is too slow or it sticks. These particular notes have to be pulled in and out. Your fourth valve is really flat on some notes and really sharp on other notes. And yeah, I mean, that's what Yamaha does. That's what the Japanese have done, is they have tried their very hardest to make instruments that can be played without thought. And that's the key to music. And I'll end the stream here in that what I said in I got to play this first thing, but J.P. Cormier, I suggest you subscribe. He doesn't have a ton of YouTube subscribers, more than me, because I'm a tuba idiot, but this guy's got like 10,000 subscribers. Go check out his channel and listen to some of his stories about music and how he explains music. And a lot of what music is a subconsciousness. It's something that's in your heart that can be, and I actually agree with him that it can be developed by anyone. It doesn't matter what your God-given musical ability is and what you were able to develop as a child or growing through your life. And there is a certain amount of that happens in music. So some people are given more of that than others, and some people are given that God-given ability. But I believe that everyone can achieve that understanding of sort of how music works in a non-academic way, in a feeling for time and rhythm that goes beyond anything that can be explained or should be explained by human thought and reasoning. And at that, I usually play out with a song, but it's late, so I'm just gonna go and say goodnight to all of you. It's been a real pleasure. Good engineering, yep, learn the tuba inside and out. But if something wasn't working right, I just had to hear it. Well, that's right. So I'll end this with that. That's what I'm talking about. What you hear, and some people can even say, like, you'll listen to good music and you'll feel it. You'll hear it in your gut. You'll feel it in your soul. And in how you perform, whoever happens to listen to these videos, it is something that you can embrace within your being. Music is. And part of it is how you learn it objectively, in that how you learn scales, how you learn the circle of fifths and the dynamics of the harmonic structure of the universe, if that makes any sense to you. Part of it is that whole thing, but also another part of it is just in how you're touched by it and how you react to that. And I actually think that that part is so much stronger than the understanding of how to make music. So may all of you make music. May all of you be kind to one another, love each other, find the Lord Jesus. Jesus Christ is the Son of God and the true and real Lord of the universe, and he's coming soon. His kingdom's coming soon. There's not a whole lot of time left, so if you're around and you're watching my program, just go and read a Bible and read what he said, because what he said is really what life's all about. May all of you be blessed. I love you. Have a great night. It's time for me to go to bed. Time for you to go to bed wherever you are, or time for you to wake up, whatever. We got work to do.